Hey everyone, so today I'm going to do something that a lot of you guys have been requesting, and that will be showing you guys how to partially install a Hudly and tuck the wires. So as you can see, my Hudly is gone and I'm missing it already. So I'm eager to get it back on, but of course I want it to look really good. So there's two ways you can do this. One way is a little bit more tedious. It might take you an extra 10 minutes, but it's going to look the best. That's the way I always do. And that way would be to remove this panel right here. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do that. It's actually a lot easier than you would think. Or the other way is just to try to tuck the wire along here. Usually it's still going to show a little bit, and it would run down to here and then down to here. So as you can see, I've left my wires right here. I did not unplug these because I honestly don't think that that's something I need to teach you guys how to do, is to plug it in. I think that the hardest part is tucking the wires and also aligning the projector to the glass. I'm going to teach you guys how to do that fairly easily without really putting in hardly any effort to do it. So let's get started. So step number one, depending on your car, you're going to have two ways of doing it. One, you're going to have an airbag thing right here or something similar, and you're going to have to pop that off. Underneath will be a Torx screw for me, or for someone else it might be a Phillips or something, but usually it's going to be a Torx because this is generally how the Germans do theirs. Or the other way is that you're just going to be able to pop it off. It's just going to have clips and it's going to pop right off. And my advice to people is, when you're dealing with something with clips, especially like this, come at it from, two sides to keep pressure even, and don't be afraid to apply a little pressure. It is made to come off, but it's also made to stay on. So you can actually, on YouTube, there's going to be a review showing you how to take off for any vehicle, unless it's like a Bugatti probably, your I believe it's called the A-pillar. So look that video up if you need to. It's super easy, I promise. It takes you maybe a minute to take it off, and the results will speak for themselves. So it's going to be a little hard to film and do the work at the same time. So my goal right now is going to be to kind of just tell you what I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do it, and then I'm going to tell you how I did it, I guess. Pry this off, I'm just going to get a flathead screwdriver, and I'm just going to stick it right in here, and I'm just going to work my way in and pop it off. But I'm going to use my finger alongside it, which is why I'm going to set down my phone, to help me pry it out without really damaging the piece. Actually, I didn't even really need to use my finger, so I'm just going to take that. I just gave it a little nudge, and now I'm going to grab it with my fingers. I'm just going to pull it right off, and we're going to set that aside. So now we've identified a Torx screw. I believe it's a T15. So I'm going to take my screwdriver, and I'm going to put it in there, and we're going to screw that out. Alright, and as you can see, it was really only that screw that was holding it on. Also important is always place your things where you can find them. So after that, I'm just going to kind of give it a little bit of a wiggle until I figure out how it comes out. Okay, and it just comes right on out. So now you've got it out. Most cars these days will have an airbag in here. If your car is off, as long as you're not punching that at like 100 miles an hour, you should be okay. Before you fit the piece back in, you want to have your wires looking like this. So you're going to want to make sure that they're running up from the side. They can be loose. In fact, you want them to be fairly loose. And you're going to want them going up into this, like they'll be coming out the top. And so once you get the two clips down on the bottom, you're going to want to make sure that these wires are on. So once you get those two clips at the bottom on, you're going to want to make sure that the wires are on the windshield side of the clip. So they'll be right here, and when they're coming out of the windshield, they'll be coming out at the very corner where we can't see them. So now you should be looking about like this, and we'll take our screwdriver and we'll tighten this down We've already pulled those wires taut, already tucked them away a little bit. They're looking good. So now comes the fun part, putting in the Hudly. And the reason we want so much slack is because this will hide up here, and it also takes a little bit more to wrap around to reconnect to the Hudly. So how we're going to do our Hudly today, I've done this reinstallation about, I don't know, this might be my 7th or 8th time moving this around, trying to figure out where I like it best. I've actually got it figured out pretty well. My favorite place to put it, I'm going to try to put it not all the way in the corner. I liked that, but I like the screen being about right here. Not in my gaze, but pretty close to the left of it, about right here. So I'm going to put my Hudly about right here, and I'm going to move it all the way to the top so it's still out of my way. Alright, so we've got it placed. It's nice and secure. It's not going anywhere. Now we're going to take these wires and we're going to tuck them on the upper side of the Hudly, right along like that. We're going to take these wires here, push them back in just a little bit. Now we're going to take these wires. You know what? I've been bothered by this tag for about 6 years. So we're going to take this, and by 6 years I mean 3 months. Take these nice scissors right here. We're going to take that tag off. Beautiful. Alright. So we've got the tag off. Always put this long one in first. It makes your life easier. That'll plug in right there. And take this one. That one will plug in right there. Okay. And then take the wires and just move them up just a little bit more. And voila. That is about as beautiful of an installation as you can get from the outside and the inside. Nobody will see anything besides that. Focus. There we go. No one will see anything. No one will see anything besides that. So now we're going to take the screen and the key to doing this properly is to actually side note, don't forget about your little airbag thing or your clippy tab. That'll just press back in. Bingo, bango, bongo. Didn't do that as well as I'd like. Alright, so that'll press back in. You'll be good to go. So the next step is going to be to do the screen. So for that, I'm going to power my car on just a little bit, because your goal is to be able to see the reflection of Hudly inside of there. And what you can do is you can actually hold the power button and Hudly will appear in the reflection, and then you can decide how big and where you want your projection to be. I usually like for mine to be about right here. Alright guys, so we've got all of our wires tucked. We've got our Hudly lined up exactly where we want it to be. Got them tucked on the sides. Everything turned out great. If you guys have any recommendations for installations, feel free to post them up below. If you guys have any questions, also feel free to comment. Thank you guys for watching my partial installation of Hudly and how to tuck the wires.